Okay, everybody, here we are at long last with an actual regular episode of the Spirits Club. It's not a IPA that's terrible. It's not a string of beers, and it is not a cheap shot challenge. It's been a while, but that's how things go sometimes. You got to reallocate your funds sometimes. So, what I have, I should have kept the top on here to make it look kind of nice before I do that. You're gonna just make a bunch of noise and also behind the scenes, right? In full view of everyone. So not really behind the scenes. But I was in the grocery store today, and I was pretty much sure that I was going to be picking up my usual benchmark bottle because it's $11.99 and it's tasty, as you know. But instead, I looked up, and at the top shelf, which is normally where I don't buy from anymore these days, just allocation of funds, I saw this. And I thought, oh, that looks nice. I bet it's expensive. It wasn't. This is here in Ohio at local grocery stores, $32.99, which I felt was pretty reasonable for a 12-year-old Scotch. And it is a single malt Scotch, Old Pulteney. Old Pulteney? Pulteney? I don't know. My Scottish is shameful. But it's in this nice box. It's the Maritime Malt, product of Scotland, born in the port of Wick, and founded by James Henderson in 1826. And it has a little blurb here. It says, Old Pulteney, 12 years old, is matured in fine oak, hand-selected ex-bourbon casks, gently absorbing the distinctive sea air, lively with a delicate mineral-salted spiciness. It is a singular and evocative spirit, truly the maritime. Well, let's see how that goes. There's a more lengthy story on the back about Sir William Pulteney, who put Wick on the map, and you can kind of see a little bit that. If you want to read it and you can actually get it to focus enough, then pause your video right here. There's your pause time for a few seconds, and then you can read it. So I'm not going to hold it up for you the whole time. So yeah, it looked decent. It was a good price. It didn't hit me in the wallet. So pop the top off and let's take a look. Nice box. Nice bottle. Looks kind of like one of those big old copper stills, sort of. Real nice here. Proudly says product of Scotland. This is 80 proof, 40% alcohol, so standard proofage. And I'm looking forward to it. On the front it says, again, matured over fine American oak, robust yet smooth with a delicate hint of sea air. And it's a nice color here in the bottle too. I know the colors don't translate very well, and I mention it all the time, but it's nice, good, a nice, good brown stuff color. Bottle of the brown stuff. So let's go ahead and peel that off. It's nice to have a cork again. Everything I've been drinking lately has not had a cork. Ooh, that's a tiny one. It smells good. Tiny little cork. Itty bitty. It just right out. Ooh, smells a little rosy. Nice and bright. I'm liking the anticipation of that. As you know, a lot of the things that I've been drinking recently, whiskey-wise, have been for the cheap shot challenge, and some of them have not been great. Others have been okay. So it'll be nice to get some high-quality Scotch back into my life here. There we go. Let me pop the cork back on here. Put that there, off to the side. And again, nice color, nice golden color, a little bit of hint of orange, but not too much. Looks more reddish orange on the video, of course, but yeah, nice here. Nice viscosity, as they would say, I suppose, in the business, along the sides there. Smells pretty good, actually. Smells nice and flowery, I suppose, which is not something that you would hear people say about a nice manly drink, but we don't do that these days. Manly and whatever is kind of silly. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look here. That's flavorful. Nice little burn. Goes right on down. Very nice Scotchy taste. I like that. It's got a bit of kind of dried fruit, kind of I always say that Scotch has a little bit of a chocolatey taste to it because it kind of does. It's just something about Scotch has like a dark chocolate hint to it somewhere, and this kind of has that, but it kind of doesn't. It feels like it's an attempt to not be chocolatey. Maybe it's the malty taste. That might be it. It might be the malt taste because that sometimes tastes like chocolate. But it has a nice fruit finish. Maybe some pears, nice sour apple almost. A little bit, not like candy sour apple, like an actual apple that's slightly sour. Pretty good though. It reminds me a little bit of Glenmorangie. A little. Glenmorangie is more on the deeper end of that. It has less of the fruit taste to it and more on the standard Scotch kind of like malt, not chocolate taste. But it's very close. It's very similar. It has a hint of Macallan in there. The brightness that you get from that, the clean, bright, like bit of bite that you get from that, which is surprising for something in this price point compared to something in that price point, because Macallan is up there. It's not cheap. Any bottle you get from them is not cheap. Just like Glenlivet generally is not cheap, although they do have some more inexpensive options that aren't bad. Glenfiddich, kind of the same deal. They can be really pricey, and some of their lower priced ones are pretty decent. But this reminds me a little bit of those mixed with a little bit of Glenmorangie. I'm going to take another sip because you always want to take a second as the palate kind of adjusts and go from. It kind of dries me out too, getting a little dry. Mm. Less of a burn the second time around, which is nice. It means the palate is adjusting to the strength of the alcohol, which is not exceptionally strong. It's only 80 proof. It's just standard. Um, but yeah, it tastes like a blend almost between Glenmorangie and something higher shelf like Macallan. It tastes a lot like that to me, which is good. Those are both really good scotches. I've liked most of everything that I've gotten from Glenmorangie. My most recent review was for the Glenmorangie X, which was their mixable. Well, they're all mixable, but it was specifically distilled for mixed drinks and cocktails. Um, I haven't done a Macallan for a while because those are really expensive, and I don't generally have $60 to $90 minimum for a bottle of Macallan most of the time. I mean, I've done some pretty high priced stuff on the channel, as you know, but that's few and far between, and so I don't drop too much on Macallan when there's other, interesting things to get. So the verdict is it's good. I like it. Quick reminder what it was that I was drinking. The old Pulteney, aged 12 years, and it's a nice change because most of what I've been drinking has been bourbons, and bourbons generally tend to be a lot younger. Most bourbons are generally 6 years or less, and a lot of them are only really about 3 years at most. Um, just because, I mean, it's not like a rule in bourbon, but that just tends to be what's the majority out there right now, especially in the lower price points. So having a nice aged scotch is a good treat today, I'll tell you. So I'm going to put the top back on, show you the box again. Nice box. Very nice. I know some places are trying to get away from this kind of thing if you're more environmentally conscious, and that's okay. Brooklotti, I know, gives you the option when you order from them directly to have can or no can. So if you're trying to give it as a gift, you can get the can so people can display it. But if you're just trying to order it for yourself and you want multiple bottles, they're like, hey, you know what? Save on the can, save on the metal involved, be a little bit better for climate and environment and stuff like that. So that's up to you for your personal preference. But I still like a nice, I like a nice presentation. I guess I like a nice presentation. I can understand why a lot of people are getting away from it. Again, you know, environmental factors and things, and trying to conserve the materials. I get that. So it's all for the good. But I do like a nice presentation, and this is very nice, very clean, and for the price, excellent. So there you go. If you're looking for something that's not too expensive and you don't want to settle for a Dewar's or something else in this price point, $32.99 for the old Pulteney 12-year, and it has a good mix of Glenmorangie and Macallan as far as the tasting notes go, in my personal opinion, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and until next time, of course, I still have I have 2 more episodes ready to go for by the time you see this, you'll have seen the first 2. I have 2 more after this to do of my finding an IPA that doesn't suck side series. We're not doing well over there. We're not doing well at all. If you are at all interested in that, and you're interested in seeing me really thoroughly not enjoy something, and you think that's funny, you'll be pleased to know that starting with episode 2, I've decided that regardless of how the stuff is, I have to finish the entire pint on camera. So you know that it's not going to waste. I'm not dumping it. I'm not getting rid of it just because I think it's horrible. So I have to drink the entire thing on camera, which I did with the second episode. The first one I still did drink. I didn't drink it on, but the second time, things I do for you folks. Anyway, this is much better. Buy this and not that. Cheers.